Jeroboam fled to Egypt, and there under the sheltering protection of Pharaoh Shishak he remained until the death of Solomon. 1 Kings 11:40. The news of Solomon's death in about 998 BCE brought Jeroboam quickly back to his homeland, where he joined his people in demanding that Solomon's son Rehoboam lighten their burdens if he wanted their support of his new kingship. Rehoboam, however, disregarded the good advice of the older counselors in preference to that of younger men his own age who told him to increase the workload of the people. The 10 tribes responded to this harshness by making Jeroboam their king. In reality, this turn of affairs took place at the instance of Jehovah, in order that he might indeed carry out his word that Jehovah had spoken by means of Ahijah. 1 Kings 12. 1-20. 2 Ch 10. 1-19. The newly installed King Jeroboam immediately set about building up Shechem as his royal capital, and of Shechem, on the other side of the Jordan, he fortified the settlement of Penuel, the place where Jacob had wrestled with an angel. 1 Kings 12. 25. GE 32. 31 Seeing his subjects streaming up to the temple in Jerusalem to worship, Jeroboam envisioned that in time they might switch their allegiance to Rehoboam and then they would kill him. So he decided to put a stop to this by establishing a religion centered around 2 golden calves, which he set up, one at Bethel in the south, the other at Dan in the north. He also set up his own non-Aaronic priesthood, composed of those among the people in general who were willing to procure the office by offering 1 bull and 7 rams. These then served for the high places, and for the God-shaped demons, and for the calves that he had made. Jeroboam also invented special holy days, and personally led the people in sacrificing to his newly created gods. 1 Kings 12. 26-33. 2 Kings 23. O text oe acute miritra longo, Jeroboam 38 One occasion Abijah assembled 400,000 to battle against Jeroboam's forces twice the size. Despite Jeroboam's superior force and his clever ambush strategy, he was badly beaten. He lost 500,000 men and many of his Ephraimic towns, and was greatly humiliated. Judah's victory was because Abijah and his men trusted in Jehovah and cried to him for help. 2 Ch 13. 3-20. To add to Jeroboam's calamity, his son Abijah fell deathly sick, whereupon the king had his wife disguise herself, and then he sent her with a gift to the old prophet Ahijah, now blind, to inquire whether the child would recover. The answer was no. Additionally, the prediction was made that every male heir of Jeroboam would be cut off, and with the exception of this son, in whom Jehovah found something good, none of Jeroboam's offspring would have a decent burial, but, instead, their carcasses would be eaten either by the dogs or by fowl. 1 Kings 14. 1-18. Shortly thereafter, in about 977 BCE, Jehovah dealt Jeroboam a blow, so that he died, bringing to an end his 22-year reign. 2 Ch 13. 20. 1 Kings 14. 20 His son Nadab succeeded him to the throne for 2 years before being killed by Baasha, who also cut off every breathing thing of Jeroboam's house. In this way his dynasty was abruptly terminated according to Jehovah's word, and on account of the sins of Jeroboam. 1 Kings 15. 25-30. 2. King of Israel. Son and successor of Jehoash, and great-grandson of Jehu. As the 14th ruler of the northern kingdom, Jeroboam II reigned for 41 years, starting in about 844 BCE. 2 Kings 14. 16-23 Like so many of his predecessors, he did what was bad in Jehovah's eyes by perpetuating the calf worship of Jeroboam I. 2 Kings 14. 24. Notice is taken of a special genealogical registration, evidently made during the reign of Jeroboam II. 1 Ch 5. 17 However, the outstanding achievement of his reign was the restoration of land that had earlier been lost by the kingdom. In fulfillment of Jonah's prophecy, Jeroboam restored the boundary of Israel from the entering in of Hamath clear to the Sea of the Araba Dead Sea. He is also credited with restoring Damascus and Hamath to Judah in Israel. 2 Kings 14. 25-28 This may mean that Jeroboam made the kingdoms of Damascus and Hamath tributary, as they had once been to Judah during the reign of Solomon. Compare 1 Kings 4. 21. 2 Ch 8. 4. In the wake of these successes doubtless came a wave of material prosperity for the northern kingdom. But at the same time the nation continued in its spiritual decline. The prophets Hosea and Amos had some harsh criticism to offer rebellious Jeroboam and his supporters for their outright apostasy, as well as their immoral conduct. Fraud, thievery, fornication, murder, oppression, idolatry, and other God-dishonoring practices. Ho 1. 2, 4. 4. 1, 2, 12-17. 5. 1-7. 6. 10. And 2. 6-8. 3. 9, 12-15. 4. One particularly pointed was Jehovah's warning to Jeroboam by the mouth of his prophet Amos. I will rise up against the house of Jeroboam with a sword. Am 7. 9. After Jeroboam's death, his son Zechariah ascended a throne. 2 Chi 14. 29. However, there was a gap of 11 years between Jeroboam's death and the 6-month rule credited to Zechariah, the last of Jehu's dynasty. Possibly because Zechariah was very young, or for some other reason, his kingship was not fully established or confirmed as his until about 792 BCE. Jeroham G. Roham may he be shown mercy. 1. Father of Elkanah and grandfather of Samuel. Descendant of the Levite Kehath. 1 1, 19, 20. 1 Ch 6. 22, 27, 34, 38. 2. A Benjamite of Dor, whose 2 sons were named among David's helpers in the warfare while he was at Ziklag under Saul's restrictions. 1 Ch 12. 1, 2, 7. 3. Father of Azarel, the prince of the tribe of Dan under King David. 1 Ch 27. 1, 22. 4. Father of Azariah, one of the army chiefs who helped Jehoiada install Jehoash as king. 2 Ch 23. 1, 11. 5. The descendant of Benjamin O textoe acute miritra longo, Jerusalem 39 side of Gideon, saying, Will you be the ones to make a legal defense for Baal to see whether you yourselves may save him? Whoever makes a legal defense for him ought to be put to death even this morning. If he is God, let him make a legal defense for himself, because someone has pulled down his altar. The Bible account continues. And he began to call him Jerubbaal on that day, saying, Let Baal make a legal defense in his own behalf, because someone has pulled down his altar. JG 6. 28-32. Gideon is called Jerubbaal 2 Samuel 11. 21. See Gideon. Jerubbaal G middle.Rub let the shameful thing make a legal defense contend. The name of Judge Gideon found at 2 Samuel 11. 21. Evidently this is a form of Jerubbaal, the name given to Gideon by his father Joash when Gideon pulled down the altar of Baal. JG 6. 30-32. Some scholars believe that the writer of 2 Samuel replaced Baal with the Hebrew word for Shembosheth in order not to use the name of the false god Baal as part of a proper name. See Gideon. Jerulgi middle.Ruel possibly, later erected by God. A wilderness apparently situated somewhere between the cities of Tekoa and Engedi. Its exact location and extent are today unknown. 2 Ch 20. 2, 16, 20. Jerusalem G middle.Rusa middle.Lem possession foundation of twofold peace. The capital city of the ancient nation of Israel from the year 1070 BCE onward. Following the division of the nation into 2 kingdoms 997 BCE, Jerusalem continued as the capital of the southern kingdom of Judah. Throughout the scriptures there are more than 800 references to Jerusalem. Name. The earliest recorded name of the city is Salem. GE 14. 18. Whereas some try to associate the meaning of the name Jerusalem with that of a West Semitic god named Shalem, the Apostle Paul shows that peace is the true meaning of the latter half of the name. Heb 7. 2. The Hebrew spelling of this latter half suggests a dual form, hence twofold peace. In Akkadian Assyro-Babylonian texts the city was called Jerusalem or Yerushalayim Mu. On this basis some scholars give the meaning of the name as City of Peace. But the Hebrew form, which logically ought to govern, apparently means possession foundation of twofold peace. Many other expressions and titles were used in the scriptures to refer to the city. The psalmist on one occasion uses the earlier name, Salem. PS 76. Two other appellations were City of Jehovah is a 60. 14. Town of the Grand King PS 48. 2. Compare Mount 5. 35. City of Righteousness and Faithful Town is a 1. 26. Zion is a 33. 20. And Holy City Ami 11. 1. Isla 48. 2. 52. 1. Mount 4. 5. The name El-Quds, meaning the Holy City, is still the popular name for it in Arabic. The name shown on present-day maps of Israel is Yerushalayim. Location. Comparatively remote from principal international trade routes, Jerusalem lay on the edge of an arid wilderness, the wilderness of Judah, its water supplies being limited. Nevertheless, two internal trade routes did intersect near the city. One ran in a NS direction along the top of the plateau forming the backbone of ancient Palestine, and this route linked together such cities as Dothan, Shechem, Bethel, Bethlehem, Hebron, and Beersheba. The second route ran in an EW direction from Rabbah in Amman, cut through torrent valleys to the Jordan River basin, ascended the steep Judean slopes, and then wound down the western slopes to the Mediterranean coast and the seaport town of Joppa. Additionally, Jerusalem was centrally located for the whole area of the Promised Land, hence appropriate for a state administration center. Lying about 55 kilometers 34 mi inland from the Mediterranean Sea and some 25 kilometers 16 mi UW of the northern end of the Dead Sea, Jerusalem rests among the hills of the Central Mountain Range. Compare PS 125. 2. Its altitude of about 750 meters, 2,500 feet above sea level made Otex to acute Miritra Longo, Jerusalem 40 the Valley of Hinnom on the south and west. A central valley, apparently referred to by Josephus as the Deropian Valley or the Valley of the Cheesemakers, bisected the city area into eastern and western hills or spurs. The Jewish War, v.